Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Invin. Today I'm going to be bringing you guys a video on how to get the most out of Rebirth Island and how you can improve instantly whilst playing this mode. Now a lot of you who follow the videos daily will know that I've recently moved on to Rebirth Island around 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I've been really enjoying it, mainly because Verdansk is riddled with hackers. It's a lot more sweaty and it's a lot more time consuming. So Rebirth Island has found a special place for me after Verdansk brought their resurgence mode. I like that fast paced mode, so once that was then taken out, I then moved over to Rebirth to try out the resurgence mode there, and I liked it. It was really good, and so that is where I've been sticking for the past month or so now. So I've been playing quite a lot of Rebirth Island every single day I've been hopping on, so I've got some great tips and tricks for you guys on how you can make the most out of it to get yourself improving at Warzone as quick as possible. Now I know a lot of people can't play for hours and hours a day, so these are going to be some very basic tips, and then as the video goes on I'm going to move into some more intermediate and advanced tips once you've got the kind of basic things under control, or for players who've been playing a while or more hours per day. Now if you do go on to enjoy this video and find it useful, make sure you drop a like on the video down below as it really helps me out. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you drop a subscribe down below and make sure you got notification bells on so you can find your way back every single time that I upload. We're uploading tons and tons of banger videos in the next couple of days, and we are pushing for 2k subs, so if you could help me out, that'd be much appreciated. Other than that, let's jump into it here. So the first thing I'm going to cover is the actual map itself and why it's good for kind of getting used to it. So Rebirth obviously is a lot smaller, and the fact that it's got a resurgence mode means that you can actually come back to life as soon as you die. Anyone who's not played it, as long as one of your teammates stays alive for the allotted time, once you do eventually get fully killed, you can then just come back to life and start playing again. Obviously you're spawning with just a pistol again, but you can come back into the game and you can start doing whatever you're doing before, looting up, doing contracts, all that good stuff. So first of all, it's a lot more fast paced and it's a lot more forgiving, meaning that if you die you don't have to go to gulag, you don't have to be brought back, and if you play with randoms in that respect, you're going to be able to get a lot more gameplay out because you're not waiting for hopefully some random person to maybe buy you back, maybe not, waiting out for 10-15 minutes trying to be a good teammate, then they don't buy you back and then they challenge a gunfight 1v4, all that good stuff is gone. So you just are focusing on yourself and your own gameplay right up until the last couple of zones where the rebirth feature is then actually disabled and you actually have to then buy people back. But right the way up until those last couple of zones you can just come back to life, and it does give you a timer to tell you how long is left as well when it is going to be closing in like a minute or two's time. So it's really nice in that respect because you can get a ton of gameplay, you can get gun skill, you can get used to how to loot up effectively, which contracts are the best, obviously scavengers being probably one of the best ones alongside supply runs, because you can do those very easily without the need to fight anybody, and then if you fight players along the way that's a bonus because it's extra XP and obviously improves your gameplay there as well. All of these different methods that you learn whilst playing Rebirth can be really helpful. Obviously Rebirth is its own mode, so you can use it to do well in Rebirth itself, but obviously you can transfer that to Verdansk if that's what you wanted to play in the end goal as well. Now that being said, that's another point to move on to, that the stats are different in Rebirth and Verdansk. In other words, your KD, your wins, all of that stuff that you get in Rebirth Island will not transfer to Verdansk and vice versa. So it's up to you if you want to be a Rebirth player and you want to care about the stats and kind of go for as many wins as you can, many top 5s, many top 10s, all that good stuff. If you want to go for as many of those as you can, as many kills, good KD, you can. If you want to just kind of use it as a warm-up or as a kind of like training system, if you like, for Verdansk, because it's a lot more close-knit, close quarters, you're going to be fighting a lot more people, better gunfights, that kind of thing, then it is going to be separate to Verdansk, so you can just run around and challenge things that you maybe wouldn't usually, or maybe go ahead and push buildings that you wouldn't usually push if people are camping, and get used to all those situations where you may be on a disadvantage to start off the fight and how you can turn that in your favour to then transfer that to Verdansk if that's what you wanted to play. But equally, like I say, if you are wanting to be a Rebirth player, it's got its own set of stats, so you can do a lot more different things on that map than you can on Verdansk, and it's going to just be its own little thing, which is really nice. Now obviously it's not your traditional style BR, it's a lot more of a smaller map, and obviously the Rebirth feature makes it a little bit different, but you do get a loadout a lot quicker, and you're able to get into a lot more gunfights very quickly, which is excellent because it means you can use this chance to improve your gameplay and your gunfight capability, your weapon recoil skills, all of that kind of good stuff, including with floor loot, because there's tons of floor loot, and generally wherever you land, if you land somewhere busy that's not like on the right outskirts of the map where there's nothing, there's going to be a team or two there, especially if you're playing quads. So it's going to be quite hectic off the bat, which is actually really nice because it gets you used to landing somewhere in those hot drop areas like you could do in Verdansk, or if you are again a Rebirth player, gets you used to those locations. You can drop in, know some of the loot runs that you can do where some stuff spawns, so you can instantly land on the weapons, and then go ahead and challenge things off the bat, get used to the floor loot, and Also, obviously, then get your loadout in very quickly by doing contracts. One scavenger at the start of a game in a quads mode will get you enough money for a loadout between yourselves very, very easily. If you then top that up with a bounty or a supply run, you're going to be tons of money in the first minute to 2 minutes of the game, which is really, really nice. On top of that, contracts are kind of like very close knit, very close together, and when you do get a scavenger run, they generally spawn within 10 to 15 meters of each other, the chests. Sometimes you get one that's kind of a little bit rogue, but generally speaking, they're all very close knit, which is really, really nice because it means you can spawn in, land on a scav, and get tons of those done quickly. Now, on top of that, obviously, it does give you a ton of weapon XP and kind of player XP, but the main thing there is looting up, getting your loadout quickly, and getting experience with those guns, so that if you are trying to level one up, you can do it through this method, and then completing contracts with that weapon in your hand is going to give you a ton of weapon XP. Or obviously you can go ahead and just get used to gunfights with those weapons if there's kind of a new one you want to try out, or you're just going for high kills, good gameplay, all of that kind of thing, and getting warmed up with the weapons. Go ahead, drop into Rebirth, you get that really quickly, and if you just want to wait for the free one, the zone is a ton quicker, so you can go ahead and get into your actual weapons a lot faster, which is really, really nice, and a lot of players find that feature very, very good. Now, another thing that Rebirth allows you to do is position yourself advantageously in lots of different situations, because on Rebirth, tons of the rooftops you can be seen by other rooftops, you can be seen by higher elevation, lower elevation, and it's very rare that you can get into like a god spot, if you like, and be up kind of like air traffic control. People have to land on you or push up the elevator shaft. Kind of no positions like that. The roof of prison is kind of the most good spot area if you can hold it down, but there is several ways up to it, so you can kind of be seen there, and there's other areas where you can go across and see from exactly the same elevation, or slightly, you know, just off kilter a little bit, but you can still see the players very easily. So it means that there's a ton of areas where you're going to have to position yourself well. You're going to have to increase your awareness, looking at your minimap, getting UAVs in, getting used to rotating those contracts every single time you haven't got one active, getting a new one, getting the money in so you've constantly got UAVs up, and then you know where you are with players. And that is really, really important, how to manage your economy, and all of that good stuff comes very, very well whilst playing Rebirth, which is why I think it's a very, very good mode for learning the ropes if you are new, or if you're kind of like a mid-range player that seems to be stuck in this gaming loop of being in these kind of matches where players are decent and there's some really good players, and then you've got like the really, really sweaty people who play it a lot. This will help you to get out of that loop by learning the economy of the game. Going through things like contracts and getting UAVs in all the time is going to be something that's going to give you a ton more awareness, and even if the players are very, very sweaty, you can set up in a good position for when they push you that you're going to have the advantage, and that is something which is a really, really good skill. Whether you're going to play Rebirth or Verdansk or any other BR for that matter, you're always going to want to have awareness and positioning as well as learning the economy to make sure you're making the most out of these games. So it is really a very, very good mode, and not to mention obviously the pace of it is a ton quicker. It's a lot more fast paced, you've got a lot more gunfights happening, you've got a lot more action going on in general, and like I said at the beginning of the video, for those people that don't have hours and hours to play per day, playing Verdansk might seem a little bit long. You maybe play for 1-2 hours a day, you get maybe 2-3 games of Verdansk in. With Rebirth, you can get 5 to 10 games in a couple of hours. You get a ton more experience, a ton more situations where you're going to be in gunfights, where you're going to be playing for final circles. Maybe you're even going to be in top 3 or getting a first place position. And obviously you can see how to win those games there in those situations, those close quarters, last zone, how to rotate, how to use the gas to your advantage, how to position yourself well, how to gunfight in those small areas, maybe 1v2 for the final kill. All of that good stuff is going to be a lot better because it's more concentrated on Rebirth Island, which is excellent for everyday players and excellent for people who want to improve at the game. So it's going to be very, very fun to use this as kind of like almost an accelerated Warzone method of how to kind of concentrate your skills into a game mode and get using everything very, very quickly. Now, obviously on top of that, it does have its own stats, like I said, so you can go ahead and work your way up the KD rankings, you can work your way up the wins rankings, and you can see how much you are improving week in and day in, and obviously just keeping an eye on your leaderboards there, you can see how you're comparing to everybody else. So it is a really, really fun mode, and if you haven't been trying it out or you've been sleeping on it a little bit, maybe you preferred Verdansk for a long while, give it a go, because I was kind of the same. I preferred Verdansk, tried out this one after the resurgence mode in Verdansk left, and it's actually amazing. So go ahead, give it a go. Let me know in the comments if you have got any questions about things that go on in Rebirth or Verdansk. I can do my best to try and answer a load of those for you, see how you can improve with kind of things that are happening in your games. And other than that, if you have enjoyed today's video, make sure you drop a like on the video down below, as it'd be really, really much appreciated. And if you are new to the channel, drop a subscribe. As I said at the beginning there, we're pushing for 2k subs, so your support would be much, much appreciated with that. Other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching. Take care and peace.